It's April 24th, 1980, just after midnight, in the Dasht-e-Kavir Desert in Iran. 8 U.S. Navy helicopters approach a stretch of salt flat that appears on no map. The pilots call it Desert 1. Below them, nothing waits, just sand, darkness, and a plan built in total secrecy for months. This is the story of Operation Eagle Claw. 5 months earlier, on November 4th, 1979, militant students storm the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. 66 Americans are taken hostage. 13 are released in November. 53 remain. Negotiations stall. Economic sanctions produce nothing. President Jimmy Carter faces mounting political pressure. On April 16, 1980, he approves a military rescue mission. The plan is complex, high risk, and unprecedented in scope. It combines 4 branches of the military that have barely trained together before. 8 RH-53D helicopters launch from the USS Nimitz in the Arabian Sea. They fly 600 miles to a rendezvous point in the Iranian desert. There, they're supposed to meet 6 C-130 transport aircraft, refuel, and pick up the Delta Force assault team under Colonel Charlie Beckwith. But a series of mechanical failures begins almost immediately. Then, hours in, a massive dust storm, a haboob, rolls across the desert, cutting visibility to almost nothing. 2 helicopters are forced to abort along the way. A third develops a hydraulic failure on the ground. That leaves only 5 operational, 1 below the minimum needed for the mission. On site, Colonel Beckwith recommends the mission be aborted. The recommendation reaches Washington within minutes. President Carter, faced with the choice of pressing forward with insufficient aircraft or pulling back, makes the call: abort the mission. Word reaches Desert 1. The order comes down: withdraw. In the chaos and blinding dust, the helicopters begin repositioning to clear a path for the waiting C-130s to take off first. In the dust and darkness, one of the retreating helicopters collides with a fuel-laden C-130 on the ground. Both aircraft erupt into flame. 8 American servicemen are killed. The mission is over. Within hours, the failed mission becomes public. President Carter appears on national television to take responsibility for the operation's failure. In Tehran, Ayatollah Khomeini calls the mission's failure an act of God, sent to protect Iran and the hostages. Crowds gather at the crash site the following morning to view the wreckage. The 53 remaining hostages are dispersed to different locations across Iran, making any future rescue attempt far more difficult. Their captivity will stretch on for another 9 months. Diplomatic negotiations continue quietly through intermediaries. Algeria serves as a go-between. The Shah's death in July removes one point of contention, but talks remain slow and difficult. After 444 days in captivity, an agreement is finally reached. On January 20th, 1981, minutes after Ronald Reagan is sworn in as president, the 52 remaining hostages are released. The aircraft lands in Algeria, then continues on to Germany, where the freed hostages receive medical attention. Crowds in the United States erupt in celebration, tying yellow ribbons around trees in a nationwide symbol of welcome. The freed hostages return home to a hero's welcome, parades, and a nation eager to move past 444 days of anguish. But questions about the failed rescue mission remain. In the months that follow, a military investigation is launched. The Holloway Commission examines what went wrong at Desert 1 and finds the mission suffered from inadequate coordination between military branches unfamiliar with joint operations. The failure prompts sweeping reform. It leads directly to the creation of U.S. Special Operations Command and a new emphasis on joint force training between military branches, lessons that reshape American special operations for decades to come. Today, a memorial at Arlington National Cemetery honors the 8 servicemen who died at Desert 1. Their names are a permanent reminder of the mission's cost and of how failure, however painful, can still forge lasting change.